Let's continue from campaign analytics to one of the most important focus areas for a marketing analyst. To measure ROI effectively, we need to select appropriate KPIs and metrics. Previously, we mentioned KPIs and metrics, but what do those terms mean? KPIs, or key performance indicators, are metrics that show if marketing efforts impact the overall business. Usually, we select one or two metrics to understand business impact and, ideally, growth. KPIs vary based on the campaign goal and should tie to business health. Supporting metrics are the measures we monitor to ensure channels are healthy and performing optimally. We can select several metrics that relate more to marketing engagement, only apply to ads, then business impact, can apply to more than marketing. Supporting metrics usually measure the immediate impact of channel and tactic optimizations. We can narrow down options for supporting metrics by leveraging marketing funnels. Marketers want to acquire prospective customers during a purchasing journey or funnel. Funnels start with a wide audience of prospects and end with a smaller audience of purchasers. The top of the funnel is called awareness, in which brands use marketing to educate the customer about brand names and messages. Awareness campaigns leverage channels that reach a wide audience, like TV. Next, the middle part of the funnel is called the consideration stage. This stage is where prospective customers are researching a brand and comparing it to other brands before purchasing. At the bottom of the funnel, customers reach the decision stage and purchase. Channels like paid search are higher volume in this stage since they can connect customers directly to purchase. Campaigns have different goals depending on the funnel stages. These goals have implications for campaign success. Awareness campaigns want to improve awareness or brand perception, but how can we measure that change? For the most part, these campaigns rely on surveys to confirm a meaningful change. With consideration campaigns, marketers want to understand how they increased research into brand offerings. However, it is difficult to know how much our brand is being considered compared to competitors. Decision campaigns are an exception, where measuring revenue impact is relatively easy. Because of these measurement differences by funnel stage, we have to be thoughtful in selecting KPIs. For upper funnel campaigns, another common KPI to track awareness, besides surveys, is audience reach. Because awareness campaigns use offline channels like TV and billboards, we use number of impressions as a proxy for audience reach. Consideration campaigns use various KPIs to represent research activities. When people visit brand websites or engage with social media, that is considered a form of research. In lower funnel campaigns, we directly associate conversions and revenue via average order value. Keep these KPIs in mind as we compare to supporting metrics. At times, it is challenging to determine if a metric is a KPI or a supporting metric. Questions to guide us are, can this metric improve via small changes in spend? Or, will business growth be indirectly affected by this metric? If the answer is yes to both questions, that is a sign of a supporting metric. Some supporting metrics for awareness are cost per 1,000 impressions, often called cost per mille or CPM, and branded paid search volume. Consideration campaigns mainly utilize engagement metrics such as Instagram likes and cost per 1,000 impressions for display ads. Decision channels monitor supporting metrics like click-through rate or cost per click. Marketing analysts can combine funnel stages and campaign goals to select appropriate KPIs and supporting metrics for any scenario. Time to review what we just learned about marketing funnel stages. Once we select KPIs, it opens the door to building marketing forecasts. Marketing analysts spend a lot of time analyzing KPI trends. Eventually, we want to answer the question, is this change normal, or is it exceptional relative to historical trends? Forecasts are the easiest way to anticipate changes in marketing KPIs at the channel level or even for the marketing program. Analysts will typically partner with finance to build forecasts that use similar assumptions and approaches. At the most basic level, marketing forecasts should help us understand the future performance of KPIs based on historical data and how channels are being leveraged to achieve funnel goals. So what can ensure that we accurately predict future marketing behavior? To make a forecast accurate, we need lots of historical data. Historical data contains seasonal patterns, anomalous events, and underlying longer-term trends. Sophisticated forecasts separate each of those components to isolate true marketing patterns without seasonality. There are three main areas to check for before beginning a forecasting exercise. Number one is having at least 2 to 3 years of historical data for a given channel, ideally at a daily grain. This accounts for multi-year seasonality. Similarly, we should work with marketing partners to make a list of anomalies that affect historical trends, like pausing channel spend temporarily. Finally, we need to anticipate recurring seasonal trends, like educational companies that see a spike in marketing interest that aligns with academic calendars. Once we have vetted channel data to ensure it is set up for accurate forecasting, we can work our way through the rest of the forecasting process. Step 1 we already accounted for, selecting KPIs. Step 2 is determining any relevant dimensions for that KPI forecast, like forecasting paid search conversions by geographic region. After we plan for KPIs, channels, and dimensions, we should check available time granularity. Some advertisers aggregate data at a daily or weekly level, and we must forecast at the lowest common granularity. The next steps are related, deciding how far into the future we will forecast, which dictates how often to refresh results. Just keep in mind, the further out we try to forecast, the more difficult it will be to achieve high accuracy. We may be thinking at this point, forecasting sounds great, but how do we actually build one? Fortunately, forecasting is a common exercise for analysts, so options range from out-of-the-box functions to advanced machine learning models. One starting place is to use tools like Excel or advertiser reports. While we cannot make many adjustments to these forecasts, we can get a sense of trends quickly. Over time, we can evolve to statistical models, which we can more finely tune. There are many different statistical modeling options like regression, econometrics, time series, and more. Whichever method we select, we can use forecasting accuracy to compare and keep improving. Marketers use forecasts for two main purposes: anticipating future trends and setting targets. Good targets will not be unrealistic or too easy to achieve. Forecasts can help marketers find a middle ground in setting channel targets. The first step is to have an accurate forecast in place to estimate seasonal trends for KPIs. We can set targets relative to the forecast to make sure targets are dynamic and realistic. Marketing partners then add in domain knowledge to further adjust targets, like knowing that the budget will be 25% lower than prior years. Forecasting plus target setting provides a powerful way of understanding and growing marketing impact. Let's review the requirements of an accurate forecast. Another component to marketing impact is attribution modeling. Changes in attribution can impact current performance and historical trends. Over time, multiple channels can help a customer move from awareness to consideration to decision. In the simplest scenario, a single channel leads to purchase, and that shows up in reporting. In reality, customers can be exposed to TV, display, and paid search before making a decision. Determining which channel gets credit in that customer journey is called attribution modeling. Marketing analysts typically make an attribution model recommendation to the business. Marketers care deeply about attribution. It impacts optimization decisions, revenue influence, and future budget decisions if a channel drives many or few purchases. There are many different attribution methods, but the most commonly used is called last touch attribution, or LTA. It works the way it sounds, where even if multiple channels play a part in purchasing, the last channel before a purchase gets 100% of credit. Last touch is popular because it is a method that is easy to explain and interpret trends. Channels that naturally occur later in the funnel and have direct impact will get more credit with last touch. By contrast, indirect impact channels receive less credit in this model because they are driving awareness and consideration goals. In some cases, indirect channels never receive credit for last touch because someone cannot purchase through that channel. As marketing programs become more sophisticated, analysts can explore options beyond last touch attribution, even if they decide to keep last touch. The other main option is called multi-touch attribution, or MTA. This attribution method splits credit across multiple channels that contributed to a customer's purchase. There are a variety of MTA modeling options, but most of them attempt to account for impact throughout the entire marketing funnel. This means that both direct and indirect impact channels are treated the same in an MTA model. The trade-off with MTA is that dividing credit makes it hard to understand why overall marketing trends are changing and requires extensive deep dive analysis. When we test different MTA models, they divide into two main categories: heuristic, a rules-based attribution, versus algorithmic, an attribution based on statistical models. Both types divide credit fractionally, meaning it all adds up to 100%. Heuristic MTA can be a good middle ground between LTA and algorithmic MTA, since analysts control the rules and complexity. Linear, splitting credit evenly between all steps, is a good heuristic model to baseline channel volume. Algorithmic MTA uses various statistical models, but usually we start with regression. In this approach, channels with a stronger relationship to purchase receive more credit. One popular heuristic model is called time decay. Time decay attribution assumes that the closer a channel is to purchase, the stronger influence it had on the purchase decision. Time decay assigns more credit based on recency to purchase or other outcomes. There is a saying that all attribution models are wrong. It can feel daunting knowing which one to choose, but there are no perfect attribution models. We can weigh the trade-offs between different models and decide. Some things to consider are: how precise does the model need to be? How much do people need to understand the model logic? Does customer behavior align better with certain channels? Does our channel mix skew toward direct impact channels? And what access to journey data will we have? A final area to consider is that with privacy laws reducing access to individual data, algorithmic solutions can mitigate data loss. Now let's practice identifying differences between LTA and MTA. the final lesson of the course. Time to discuss a challenging and rewarding analysis, revenue and cost modeling. Marketing analysts are key to ROI analysis. ROI is the return on investment, which is calculated as marketing revenue minus investment divided by total marketing investment. Marketers sometimes see us as magicians, guiding them toward positive ROI via mysterious analyses. Let's begin with marketing spend. Analysts decide which cost to include in marketing spend and can include any money spent with advertisers on ads. There are some nuances with advertiser spend, since spending models vary by channel and even tactic. Paid search uses cost per click, while channels that rely on impressions, such as TV and display, use cost per view. Video tactics use cost per view pricing, and what constitutes a view varies by advertiser. Analysts can even include operational costs, like the cost of producing an ad, or the salary of marketing personnel. A level above marketing spend is a concept called CAC, or Customer Acquisition Cost. CAC is the cost of convincing a potential customer to buy. This is along the lines of the broader spend interpretation we just reviewed, where it includes all large marketing costs, like salary, reporting tools, and even sales teams. CAC can be calculated across channels or by channel. If CAC is cross-channel, then finance partners can assist in identifying sources of cost. CAC is calculated as total marketing costs divided by the number of newly acquired customers during the same period. For example, if we spend $100 on marketing and acquire 100 new customers in the same year, that equals a $1 CAC. Let's switch gears to the other side of ROI, revenue. Channel mix and business model dictate what marketing analysts should account for in marketing revenue. From a channel impact perspective, analysts need to consider if channels can be tied to revenue, direct versus indirect impact. Revenue can be calculated differently depending on product cost. For example, expensive items like cars take longer to purchase than other items. Additionally, if a business has a subscription model, that can impact revenue assumptions over time. Analysts can, once again, work with finance partners to collaborate on revenue modeling assumptions. Revenue impact of customers changes over a longer time period. Customer lifetime calculates the average time between acquisition and stopping business with a company or churning. This is where LTV, or lifetime value, matters. It predicts net profit attributed to the future relationship with customers. LTV is calculated by adding average purchase value plus purchase frequency plus customer lifetime. For example, customer number 1 signs up for one online class and never returns with an LTV of $50. Customer number 2 signs up for an unlimited class subscription for 2 years with an LTV of $350. Marketers want more of customer number 2 than customer number 1. Mature marketing programs do not spend on all customers equally. They spend more on customers with higher LTV while not overspending. To monitor this balance, marketers optimize toward an LTV to CAC target. LTV to CAC ratio just means LTV divided by CAC. This ratio ensures that ROI is always positive. 2-to-1 LTV to CAC means for every $1 marketing spends on acquiring a customer, we should earn $2 back in LTV on average. We want a minimum of 1-to-1 to avoid overspending, but 3-to-1 is a good benchmark. Marketers select channels with the potential to acquire higher LTV customers successfully, and analysts work hand in hand to monitor ROI trends. Let's practice important factors for LTV and CAC. Congratulations on reaching the end of this course, and thanks for taking it. Hopefully, we have a better understanding about what marketing analytics is. First, we learned about the basics of being a marketing analyst. We have an understanding of which marketing levers to analyze, as well as which business questions we will encounter. In Chapter 2, we learned about the various complexities that go hand in hand with marketing analytics, understanding privacy laws, knowing where to access marketing data, and anticipating indirect channel impact are just some of the challenges we now face head-on. In Chapter 3, we covered some examples of common deep dive marketing analyses. We can understand text or sentiment analysis, audience segmentation, and even run predictive models for an integrated campaign. Finally, we spent time learning about the goal for all marketing analytics: measuring marketing ROI. By selecting the right KPIs, building forecasts, and choosing an attribution model, we can combine all of these parts into a full LTV to CAC model. For further deep dive into the world of marketing analytics, here are a few Datacamp resources to consider. Once again, thanks for taking this course. Best of luck in the journey to becoming a marketing analyst.